Hey, sports fans, PB&Z Sports Chaos, we're coming back at you. And look, we're vacationing. PB's in a hotel. I'm outside on the deck doing a little barbecuing, and we got a little beer going. Where'd you going from the Midwest? You're out in Indiana, right?
Yeah, from Midwest USA. It says right on the can actually here. It's a Dragonfly IPA. It's from Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh, hometown the Hoosiers.
Yeah. It's 6.7% ABV. It's not too bad. It's a nice beer. I don't think they're as good as some of the beers we have in the Northeast and down in Florida, but I'm digging it. When in Indiana.
There you go. Well, by the way, I got a little rusty reel from Pennsylvania. I know you experienced that a few times, right?
Yes, I have had that beer. It's a good one.
This is not a bad beer. Not a bad beer. We're going to do a shout out to those guys. All right, let's get right into this. NHL is off and running. We're going to talk about that. The first round of the Stanley Cup has already started, and it's been crazy so far. NBA is getting ready to play on Monday, and we get what we wanted, a play-in game. Yes, a ninth versus an eighth. We'll talk about that momentarily. But first, let's do the 2-minute drill. Big news of the week. NCAA football has blown up. Two conferences have already said, no way, we're not playing. Pac-12 and Big Ten are done. Meanwhile, SEC, ACC, and PB has lost his video. He's back, all right. ACC and the Big 12 all say they're going to still play on. We'll see what happens. By the way, NCAA, if you don't know this, fans, all fall sports have been canceled for the championships anyways, except for football, because the NCAA does not control football at the Division I level. Go figure. So we'll see what happens there. Hey, by the way, if you want to know the math, there was 838 games to be played this year in football, Division I. It's now down to 393. MLB. Oh, my God, the bug is still going on. Yes, COVID-19. The St. Louis Cardinals have now missed 18 games, and we don't know when they're going to play again. And by the way, PB, they said they may not make them up. They may not play 60 games at the end of the day. And we both had them as in the running for a playoff contention, right?
Yeah. They'll have to go by, I guess, winning percentage at that point, right?
Oh, man. Hey, by the way, some dude named Mookie, I think we know him in Boston, right? He hit 3 home runs last night for the Dodgers. You know where that ranks him in all-time games, PB, for 3 homer games?
I'd say he's got to be in the top 10 somewhere.
He's tied for 1.
Wow.
There's 2 other guys, Sammy Sosa, and I think it's Jimmy Fox, are tied for 1 with 6 games with 3 home runs or more.
Wow.
All right, speaking of Mookie, his former team, the Red Sox, they absolutely suck right now. This is horrible. They just played Tampa Bay this last 4 days. They got swept by Tampa Bay, your Florida team. They gave up 42 runs. This guy, Chaim Bloom, who came from Tampa Bay, as we all know, I'm starting a campaign. Hashtag Chaim Bloom must go. This guy is killing us. This is a team that is only a year and a half away from winning the World Series, and they won 118 games that year. They're not going to win 10 games. That's my prediction. They will not win 10 games. It's horrible. Hey, by the way, if I see Chaim Bloom at a Capitol Grill, you know what I'm going to do? Once he orders his meal, I'm going to call the manager over and go, I'll pay 4 times what he paid for that if you bring him out a hot dog, because that's what he's giving us. He's giving us a hot dog for 4 times the price of what we pay for a ticket. Come on, Chaim Bloom, you suck. All right, I'm sorry. Hey, by the way, did you see last night's game, PB? I don't know if you did or not. They were losing 17-5 in the ninth. They bring in shortstop Jose Peraza to pitch. They bring in Zui Lin to play shortstop. Peraza gets kneeled after tossing up a meatball. Gets kneeled. Now, get this. The catcher, Palaki, he has to go to pitcher. Lynn, the shortstop, who just came in the game, goes to catcher. The new shortstop is the guy who's playing second. The new second baseman is none other than Vasquez, the starting catcher who's off for the night. He came in to play second base in the 9th inning. This is like Little League. This is horrible. I don't know what to do.
I got one question for you, Russ.
Yes.
Who's on first?
I have no idea anymore. Moreland, if we're lucky. It's horrible. This is, I can't talk about it anymore. Fans, hashtag Chaim Bloom must go. I'm going to start putting this on shirts next week. All right,
Oh,
PB,
God.
let's get into hockey because I can't talk about this crap anymore. Hey, we had a great start to the playoffs. We both said it. You said this is going to be the best round of playoffs ever in any of the sports in the bubble. We had 5 overtimes in the first game. What an epic game. PB, by the way, did you know those 5 overtimes was only the 4th longest game ever in NHL history? Can you believe that?
Wow. Yeah. I do actually remember one of them. I think it was the Caps and the Islanders back in the probably late 80s. And I remember staying up and watching that. I think it ended at like 2:30 in the morning or something. It was a 6 overtime game.
And for fans who don't know this, in NHL, PB, tell us about the hockey. It's full periods, correct?
Yeah, you're just playing full periods. The NHL playoffs have always been that way. There's no shootout. There's no 3-on-3s, 4-on-4s, none of that stuff. It's just regular hockey, 20 minutes, making ice in between periods. You just keep going until someone scores.
So in theory, they almost play 3 games that night.
They almost did, yeah.
Which meant, by the way, the Bruins were supposed to play after them in the bubble, and their game got pushed to 11 a.m. the next morning. DYK. It was the earliest Stanley Cup playoff in history at 11 a.m. in the morning. I did watch it.
I did too. Had it on the background. I was working, but working from home, having it on the background, no volume. It was pretty fun.
All right, let's get right into this. What's going to happen this first round?
All right, so we have some interesting matchups. Let's start off with the Tampa Bay Columbus Blue Jacket matchup. Columbus did a nice job to win their 3 out of 5 to get in. And Tampa's a great team. I mean, I could see Tampa certainly going deep into the playoffs based on the talent there. Columbus, for those of you who don't know, and Tampa Bay Lightning, they actually met up in the playoffs in the first round last year with Columbus as an 8 seed and Tampa Bay as the 1 seed. And you know what that series, how many games that went, Russ? Do you remember?
Was it a sweep?
It was a sweep. Absolutely. It was an absolute sweep. And you know what? They crushed them. They won some games by big numbers. I think they had a 5-1 game in there. They had a 7-3 game 4. They won 7-3. They were flying all over the ice. So I wouldn't be surprised if Columbus can do something like that again this year. They have a great team. But my prediction, I'm still going to take Tampa Bay in this series, but it's going to go 7.
All right.
It's going to go 7. Right now, that series is tied 1-1.
I'm going Blue Jackets. I'm going to go with deja vu.
All right. I like it. And incidentally, the Blue Jackets, after that thrashing of Tampa Bay, they came in and played the Bruins last year, and they actually went up 2-1, I believe, on the Bruins before the Bruins won 3 straight to win that.
They gave the Bees a scare. They did.
Yeah, that was a good series. So let's move to the surprising Montreal Canadiens, who knocked off Pittsburgh to get to the playoffs. Now here they are facing what is the number 1 seed based on the round robin, Philadelphia Flyers. They were the 4 seed to start the round robin, and they swept. They beat the Bruins, they beat the Lightning, and they beat the Capitals. Russ, I think they shot their load a little early, don't you? I mean, I really do. I think Montreal's hot, and the series is tied 1-1. I mean, Montreal crushed them today, 5-0. I'm going to take Montreal in that series. I think it'll go 7, but I think the Canadiens will take the Flyers.
Some Canadian team on their home ice has to be in the final. I'm with you. Montreal wins this series.
All right. Okay. So we're same on one, different on one. Okay, now we got our home team, the Boston Bruins, right? Up against the Carolina Panthers. I said this is going to be interesting. That's why I didn't care if the Bruins won the round robin or not, because if you won the round robin, you're playing the Canadiens. If you finished second in the round robin, you were playing the hot Columbus Blue Jackets. It doesn't matter. And I think they may have drawn one of the Islanders probably would have been the easiest draw if they could have beaten the Capitals that last day, but they didn't. So they got the Carolina Panthers. I think Carolina can give them some fits. They have a good power play. They have a good penalty kill.
They do.
The Bruins, though, had won 7 straight against the Panthers. Carolina.
Carolina.
Football. The Carolina Hurricanes up until that point, and then they finally lost their first game. They were up, by the way, in that game, but they lost it. So it's tied 1-1 right now. What's going to happen the rest of the way? I think the Bruins will prevail. It's going to go 7, though. I think it's going to take a game 7 here for the Bruins to win that series.
I think you're right. The Bruins, you know what? They did win game 1. By the way, that was the second game of the tournament, and that went 2 overtimes, right? After 11 a.m. start.
Yeah.
So they seem to regain their legs. They looked sharp up to the third period last night, and then they lost that game. But I think I'm with you. I think they're going to come back and end up winning this thing in 7.
All right. We're on the same page there. And then finally, we have the New York Islanders and the Washington Capitals. The Islanders are up 1-0. That's kind of surprising. Surprising momentum they're carrying. I think they had lost 6 or 7 straight going into the end of the season before the COVID break. So they weren't playing well at all. They come in, they won their series over I don't know about the Florida Panthers being a good win for them. The Florida Panthers were kind of iffy. But they did win the series, and here they are facing the Capitals, and they beat them in game 1. I just don't see in a 7-game series the Islanders holding up against the likes of the Capitals. So I'm going to take the Capitals in this series, and I think they'll come back and win pretty strong here. I'm going to put them in 6, which means the Islanders only have 1 more win in them, and the Capitals will win 4 out of the next 5 and win that series in 6.
All right, PB, I got another shock for you. I think the Islanders, with their young legs, beat the older Capitals, who are very old. They've been around for a while. Most of their star players, Ovechkin's been playing since the 90s, I think. So we'll see what happens. I think the Islanders win.
Okay. All right. They're up 1-0, so, could happen. Let's move
Let's move on to the West.
On to the West. All right, you got the Vegas Knights and the Blackhawks. Vegas has already got 2-0. I would have picked that as a sweep before the series even started. You have Vegas going into the finals. The actual Cup finals. I have them going to the West Conference Finals. Easy win, sweep. They're going to sweep the Blackhawks 4 games.
I'm with you on that one. All right, give us the next one.
Colorado Avalanche. I have them going to the Cup against the Bruins, as I predicted earlier. I think the Avalanche will go up against Vegas, though, your team that you're picking to make the Cup in the Western Conference Finals. So I have them winning this series, too. They, as well, are also up 2-0, and I can see them sweeping that series, too.
I agree with you on that, for sure.
Vancouver and St. Louis Blues, last year's NHL champions. Tough, right? They're already down 1-0. They didn't do well in the round robin.
They did not. No.
Expect them to do well. I did not predict them to do well in the round robin. I see this series being won by the Canucks, and I'm going to say in 6 games.
I'm with you on that. Yes, Vancouver.
All right. And then finally, we have the Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. This series is tied at 1. I think Calgary's the better team. Dallas's offense is lethargic. One of the lowest scoring teams in the NHL. I'm going to put the Calgary Flames through on this one. I have them winning in 6.
Are you? I think
Yeah.
Tyler Seguin, right? He's still down there in Dallas. I think he wakes up and he has a big series and he wins that one.
All
I
right.
got Dallas.
Okay, good one.
All right, that's our NHL picks. Let's talk NBA because they start Monday night. But first, the play-in game. They actually going to have a play-in game. And this fans didn't work out the way people thought it would be. Memphis, who had the 8th spot going in, lost the 8th spot. They held on to the 9th, so they get to go in the play-in game against Portland. And Portland will now, I believe, win that play-in game. I don't know about you, PB.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I mean, in order for Memphis to get in, they have to beat them twice, 2 straight, Saturday and Sunday. I just can't see that happening. I would have loved to see Phoenix in this spot, actually. They were playing some good basketball. They won.
They're the only team undefeated in the tournament.
Yeah, if they just could squeak in, that would have been kind of sweet. But, Portland all the way there.
All right, let's talk about the East first of all. What do you think in the first round in the East? We've got the number 1 seed, the Bucks, playing the Magic.
Yeah, that's an easy win. 4 games, Milwaukee all the way.
4-0, right? I'm with you on that one. All right, number 2, we got Toronto playing the Brooklyn Nets. What do you think?
There's another sweep in the making. I'm going to take Toronto in 4.
All right, here's where it gets interesting, Boston fans. Our Celtics, the number 3 seed, play the dreaded Philadelphia Sixers, who, by the way, owned Boston during the regular season. But I will say this, Joel Embid, overrated. Ben Simmons overrated and now injured. And both, by the way, both of them are injury prone. Joel and Embiid got hurt once again. These guys can't win with number 1 draft picks. Embiid, Simmons, and Markelle Fultz, who they took for Mark instead of Jason Tatum, and they traded. They can't hold on to these guys. They get hurt.
No. Yeah,
I think
and
the Celtics
Ben Simmons is out for the year, so he's done.
Done.
He had surgery, and then Joel Embiid, who knows how many games he's going to play in the series? I don't think this is going to be a challenge. And the
He's
Celtics
a sissy. He's a sissy.
And the Celtics own the Sixers. So I think the Celtics take this in 5. If Embiid can come in and play in every game, maybe it squeaks into a 6th game. But I think the Celtics will win this in 5.
I got 6, but I think the Celtics win. All right, here we go. Miami Heat versus the Pacers. I think the Heat.
And I'm sitting in Indiana right now. I got my Heat shirt on. I got my Heat fans over here. This is going to be an interesting series. And
well, they'll get one. They'll get one round.
Miami's, they got some star power there, and they got some good players, and I think they're young. They got a good bench. They have some guys who can drain threes all day long. So, Indiana's can be interesting though. They're a feisty little team. So I'm going to say Miami takes the series, but it's not going to be as easy as people think. I got Miami in 6.
I think it goes 7. But I agree with you. I think Miami wins in the end. I think they got too much horsepower, outside shots. Jimmy Butler's, a tiger. So I think they win that. What do you got next?
So we're going to move out west, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so in the West, I got the Lakers against the Blazers. Got Blazers winning the play-in. I think the Blazers actually have a legitimate shot at giving the Lakers some fits.
I'm with you. I agree.
I would love for them to push that to a Game 7, but I don't think they can quite get there. I'm going to say Lakers, but in 6.
I think it's 7, and Lakers still win. All right, we got Clippers against the Mavs. What do you think there? This is a very interesting series.
This is an interesting series. It could, but I think the Clippers are one of the better teams in the West.
On paper, they are.
And I don't see this one Dallas giving them much trouble. I think they pull out one of the games, and then the Clippers win it in 5.
You don't think Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis can make this close?
They'll make some of the games close, but the Clippers will still.
Yep. All right. I'm with you. I think Clippers struggle, but they win the series. All right, Nuggets versus the Jazz.
Yeah. So these two teams basically have almost identical records.
They are. They're even.
All those teams in the West. After you get past 1 and 2, they're kind of all right there. So this is your 3-6 matchup. I'm going to pick the upset here. I'm going to go with the Utah Jazz, and I'm going to take them in 7. I'm going to take them in 7. It's going to be it's probably going to be one of the best series in the NBA first round. But I'm going to take the Jazz.
I'm with you. I got the same pick. 7 games, Jazz win it.
All right.
Cool. Rockets and Thunder, they have not been determined who's in 4 and who's the 5. They got a game to play tonight, actually, for the 4 and 5 seeding. But they'll play each other. Who do you like?
Right. Which doesn't matter. Just like Miami and Indiana played today, there's no home court. They're in the bubble. So home court does not matter here in the playoffs, which actually does change some of the potential picks. But that being said, I think this is another series that's going to go 7 games.
I'm with you.
You look at the Houston Rockets. You got Westbrook is a question mark. How many games is he going to be able to play? What's the status of his injury? He's just listed as day-to-day right now. And, he's up against his former team, OKC, right? So he's going to be playing for something. But at the end of the day, I really like Harden, and I like the Rockets, and I think the Rockets will pull this thing off in 7.
I'm with you. And once Westbrook comes back, they might lose 1 game, 2 games, might be down 3-2 going into Game 6. But I agree. I think the Rockets win the series. All right. PB, good picks, brother. I like it, man. We're on fire here. All right. Next week, fans, we'll talk more about NHL, NBA, and we're going to get ready. We're a couple weeks away from our fantasy NFL picks, right, and draft.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right.
We got to make our fantasy, top picks at each position. And we might even consider doing our internal sports guys draft. Maybe we'll do that live. Who knows? We'll see.
Oh, all right. A survival fantasy football. Fans, if you don't know what that is, we pick 4 players, and we don't get to change them out the rest of the year. You go the whole season long. They go on IR, IL, whatever you call it now. You're stuck with them. We'll see what happens.
There's no head-to-head matchups. You just pick a quarterback, a receiver, a running back, and then one flex player that's either a running back, tight end, or receiver, and that's all. That's your 4 guys. It's a great pool. It's really, really fun. So maybe we'll do that live. All right.
PB, good show, man. Enjoy your time in Indiana. We'll talk soon. Fans, take it easy. Have a good weekend.
Go Miami!